We can do that.
Yeah, do you hear that echo, Rich?
I do.
Trying to find out which phone line it's coming from.
So if everybody can hear me okay, make sure that you're either on your receiver on your phone or that two computers aren't hearing each other. So if my voice is coming out of one computer and another computer picks it up, it's going to be a bad echo. So just make sure that either your volume's way down or you're on a phone line right now.
No, I've got my headset on.
Okay. It sounds better now.
Yeah, I think whatever somebody just did, thank you, because I don't hear the echo anymore.
Okay, perfect. So am I okay to hit share now?
Not yet. Everybody that's joined this session, you should be looking at the white screen that says Tiffany Reilly Insurance Agency. And if you take your mouse and hover at the bottom of your monitor, there's a button in Ring Central. I think it says More on your end, where you can click on More and then click to record the session for yourself and keep a copy of the recording if you want.
And guys, I've already hit that button as well, so I can always put this back on the YouTube link like I did on the last one. So if you don't want to hit record, that's fine.
Okay. So go ahead and share your screen, Rich.
Okay.
Okay. Can everybody see Rich's desktop? See me moving the mouse around the center of his monitor in Hawksoft?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Lawrence Farmer is the customer we've got open.
Nope, I don't see it.
Okay. Tell me who you
I'm
are.
not there. Teresa.
Okay, Teresa, chances are you have joined on the phone only and not the Ring Central session yet.
It should be a browser. Try to open. Don't push it down.
Get out of the calendar?
No, just push it down.
Honey.
See what else is there.
Shay's coming to the rescue.
Thanks, Shay.
Oh no, that's coming to the rescue. I'm rescuing Doreen right now.
Oh, Teresa, tell me what you're looking at, hon.
I didn't.
So hear it? Okay. Yeah, so now you can see it.
Settlement is next Wednesday at 9.
Okay, I was on. Is there supposed to be something else besides you reviewing Rich Reilly's screen? Because that's all I see in green, and everything else is black.
Try to minimize that if you can. Because what you should see is you should actually see the Hawksoft program with a customer called Reliable Roofers open.
Full screen now. I mean, it's recording. I had this problem last time, but I didn't. I logged in through the right Chrome this time.
At the bottom of your monitor.
I can't minimize Ring Central. I can't minimize while I'm recording. Hold on one second. That's what it's telling me.
So at the bottom of my monitor, I have Ring Central open, and it looks like a box, an orange box with a white circle in the middle, and I have two of them open. So try to click to see if there's two Ring Central screens open.
Okay.
Teresa, are you in?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Can you see Reliable Roofers now, Teresa?
I can.
Okay. Am I missing anybody? Anybody still having trouble seeing my mouse move? Okay, I think we're good. But please holler, please speak up if we're not, and I'll help you. Rich, one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to delete myself from your program as a user. I don't need to log in with my initials anymore. You've got all the permissions you need.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I have a couple small things to talk to you guys about, but then I'm going to open the floor and let you all ask all the questions you want. Rich, is your staff taking payments in Hawksoft for customer money?
They should be. I instructed them to watch our hour-long video and to record any payment they take, whether it's a nationwide direct payment to the carrier or a check or cash to the agency. So they should be.
Okay. So guys, I was an agent for a really long time. I used Hawksoft for 8 years, and I took all my payments in the program, even if it was a customer credit card payment. A client would call me and say, here, Tiffany, here's your credit card number. And I would always, like, for example, I would open up the Progressive website, type in my customer's credit card number and post that payment. But I would also record that phone conversation in Hawksoft too, just in case I needed a record of when so-and-so called me to make a payment. And I think those payments, Rich, those payments with customer credit card money where it never hits your agency bank account aren't so important to record because you're not the one managing the money. But for E&O purposes, I tended to document those phone conversations too, if that makes sense.
For sure. Yes, that's what we want to do here too.
So the only reason I brought that up, guys, is because if I took a customer credit card number, I would type the entire 16-digit credit card number on the carrier website and let Progressive take their money, but I would never document the entire credit card number in Hawksoft. I didn't feel like I needed to store somebody's credit card number in the program. I would, however, document the last 4 digits of the credit card number as a reference. So Hawksoft just wants to sort of reiterate, it's not really your responsibility to keep somebody's credit card number on file. And if you do want to document what card they paid with, we recommend that you just document the last 4 digits. So, everybody feel clear about that one?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The other thing I want to mention is that, and Rich, this might just be for you and Shay and you administrators, but Hawksoft is not just a place to manage your customer files. 99% of the time when we click on search and we type in somebody's name, we're going to see how this type right here says customer?
Yep.
I want you all to know, and Rich, you too, you can insert what we call others. I inserted a vendor into my program, actually inserted like 12 vendors. I inserted a vendor for the landlord that I rented my agency office from, and I put his name and his phone number and his email address in there, and I kept a copy of my lease agreement and my rent receipt. And when I called him to come fix my sink at my agency, I made notes in that file. So Rich, does that make sense? You could use it as more than just a client management system.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is another spot where we talked about, keeping licenses. So if we want to keep all of our agency licenses in the same spot, we can use something like this.
Yeah, my boss had one in the program called Agent Employee for me. She put Tiffany Brown in the program. She put my name, my husband's name, my application for employment, my phone number. She kept my employee review. She made notes about when I asked for vacation time. So I want you guys to know that you can insert other than customer files and then use those files to communicate with your vendors and your staff and really anybody that you need to run your business, right?
Yep.
Rich, this one, new personal contact. I very rarely use this, but this is a true story. I inserted my brother, even though he wasn't my customer, because I'm terrible at remembering his birthday. He was my personal contact, and I wanted to set a reminder to myself.
The one that makes knives?
Yes.
Cool.
And what I'm after, and the reason I'm discussing this with the staff, is see this one in here, guys, called New Carrier? I won't really do this. I won't keep it in your file, but Nationwide is one of your biggest carriers, right?
Yep.
Nationwide has dozens of phone numbers, email addresses for marketing reps, download departments, agency licensing, And there's unlimited room for you guys to keep contact information in here for your carrier. So see how it says carrier up here?
Mm-hmm.
So Rich, you could create a file called Nationwide, and then your staff doesn't have to search for all the phone numbers for all the marketing reps or the underwriters that they need to communicate with.
Okay, great.
And I want you to see this. It's a little bit of a workaround, but let's say I go in here and I create, I don't know, I put in like 45 phone numbers and email addresses.
Mm-hmm.
Back when you and Shay and Aubrey and I first met, we were doing a ton of work here in Nationwide, in your company setup. To see how there's limited room for contact info.
Yep.
If you created a Nationwide customer file, carrier file over here, you could link to that Nationwide company and it would display all the contact information in the setup for your staff.
Cool.
Okay. So staff, does everybody know that when you open up a customer file in Hawksoft, let me try, I want to try to find a Nationwide customer. Does everybody know that when you open up any customer file in Hawksoft and you see that your client is insured with Nationwide, do you all know that you can click right here on the word company and see the contact information Rich has put in for you?
Oh, nice.
Cool.
So if you have to email an underwriter, call a customer service number, he and Shay and Aubrey have been working really, really hard to provide you guys with details here. And it's not just with Nationwide. I saw another customer. We had State Auto in there too, right?
It was the reliable one.
Oh, here's one, Mace. If I click on the word company and I don't know who to call, here's all my contact information at my fingertips. Hey, so anytime you see a word in Hawksoft on your client level that has the little dash marks underneath it, the underline, it means it's clickable. So if I click up here on any of this contact information, do you see how it displays everything at me at once for me? Or this used to drive me crazy, and I need to find another customer. Like this one, see how it says that this client's 2013 BMW has a lien holder or a lost payee down here?
Mm-hmm.
I can't see the address, and I need it because I need to fax a binder over to them or mail them something. If you click, it'll show you the entire piece of contact information.
Nice.
Okay. Did you guys also know that every single thing typed in your client files is copyable? So maybe I'm going to a carrier website and I need the VIN number to paste into a screen on the website to make a change. If I take my mouse and I left click, like normal click, do you notice how it copied that VIN number to my clipboard for me to paste anywhere I wanted?
So left click is automatically just copying the whole VIN number.
Yeah, and I think it gets really frustrating because I could look at this VIN number and think that I'm supposed to hold my left click down and then drag to copy like normal, highlight copy.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it doesn't work. You can't drag your mouse over it and copy it. So if you just simply click once, left click, you can paste those details anywhere you want. Okay. And then one more thing, and the guys, and then I'll open up the floor for everybody. I want to try to find a policy that needs some help. Oh, here's one. Since I'm doing this, guys, I click on search and I type in a customer's name. And I move too fast and I highlight, I don't know, I highlight Brendan and I double click on his name. And I realized that I didn't want his file. I wanted the next one in line. I just wasn't paying attention and I clicked too fast. You see how this button right here, this next button, will bring me to the next customer alphabetically?
Oh, cool.
Oh.
Same thing, like it doesn't have to be alphabetically. If I type in a customer's policy number, that's a terrible example. And I'm not paying attention and I double click on Terry, but I really meant to highlight Forest. It'll bring me to the next sequential number because that's what I searched by.
These are all things you didn't tell me about, Tiff. What's up with that?
I know. I didn't want to overwhelm you. And I wanted the wow factor. I wanted to leave on a good note. And I could honestly, I could keep going forever, guys, but I don't want to waste your time. I want you to be able to ask questions. But one more that I think is incredibly important. I'm sure this has happened to every one of you. I'm in the middle of Brian's customer file. I'm working in the action menu, and I'm trying to document a conversation about his Infinity, and I need his VIN number. And I realized since I'm in the middle of this action menu, I'm frustrated because I can't click over here on the Infinity and see what I need to see. So I don't want to have to click cancel and back up and start my work all over again. Or if I'm in the middle of an Accord form or I'm in the middle of printing a letter or sending an email. Happens to me probably 100 times a day where I'm in the middle of my action menu and I get frustrated because I can't open another client. I can't see data in a customer file that I'm trying to see. So I want you guys to all write this trick down. On your keyboard, Rich, you might have to do it for me. Just do this one time, but on your keyboard, click Control, Alt, and the letter N like Nancy. And it stands for new, guys. Control, Alt, new, or Control, Alt, N will launch another instance of Hawksoft without making you log in again. Did you see how I was in the middle of Brian's customer file over here? But then it launched this one for me so that I could go look at his VIN number.
Yeah, that's huge. That's happened to me at least 10 times yesterday.
Yeah. Control Alt N.
Cool.
It's actually what this is for. Let's do this. You've probably seen it, guys, but see this button called Open in a New Window? It's the same thing, but Control Alt N is the keyboard shortcut because this button is not always available in every dialog.
That's great.
Okay, this one, this is what I started with. I started to want to talk to everybody about. Is
that normal?
Yeah.
Because it pulls out every single client I had to, and it's the wrong number, and it says invalid and all that kind of. This is normal, okay?
It is normal, but I want to explain why it's normal, and it can be fixed, and it will be fixed as you guys work together to get through this cleanup period. Nationwide sent us hundreds and hundreds of downloads in the last week, and Nationwide is the one that built this auto button here in Hawksoft. Nationwide's the one that put this 2028698 agency code in the program. And I tried to work on Brian's customer file, and it says, Tiffany, before you can do anything, the client and policy contains missing or invalid information, meaning this code was never put in your company setup. So, Rich, if I click here, if I cheat, because I'm you, and I go into Nationwide Setup, and I add that missing code, it'll prevent that message from showing up for your staff. And I don't know, is that really a real code from Nationwide?
Yeah, so that is Beth's code, but it just doesn't have the state identifier in front of it. So in our codes, we have 1900 or 1920286898, but if we took all those 19s out and added more codes without the 19s, that would probably fix all those problems.
It would, or we're trying to comply with Nationwide. This is your true code. This is what I taught you to set up, but Nationwide said, here you go. here's the agency code on the policy,
Right.
and it doesn't sync with what we thought that code was, right?
Uh-huh.
So if we have two options. We either just sort of let Nationwide twist our arm and we add that code in and cause confusion because it looks like a duplicate code in your setup, right? Or the staff members know that when they run across this message, what they're supposed to do is drop down the menu and choose
1920.
that one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then click OK. And then as soon as I fix that problem, see how I don't get that error message again?
Mm-hmm.
And Rich, that's something you and I could probably run a report for and do some more cleanup on. I just want the staff to know that when they open up a customer file, any customer, and they see that message that says, hey, there's invalid information, don't ignore it. Because until we get all these policies fixed, it's going to continue to happen.
Yeah, and before yesterday, Tiffany and I were on the phone for a couple hours doing all these cleanups. Before that, we would have to choose not only that agent code, but also the agent one, client office, and policy office. So now all that other stuff is cleaned up. Now it's just one field that we have to click. But again, make sure you do it. So the next time somebody goes in there, it's fixed.
Okay.
And Rich, do you think by now all Nationwide's supposed to be downloaded? There shouldn't be any missing clients on Hawksoft?
We haven't seen any in the last couple of days, but if you guys, anybody
Okay.
sees any missing information, you just need to let me know so we can figure out why.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, questions about what I just taught you? Anybody? Okay.
Can I go first?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you click that reliable roofers again? Over on the left. Yep. So this morning, I noticed that we had two reliable roofers. One was a prospect and one was a state auto policy, which we're seeing here. So I merged them, where I thought I merged them right, but obviously I didn't, because now there's two auto policies, both with state auto. The difference is one of them, so the one that we're on now has no policy number, and the other one, number 3, does have the policy number. So I'm not sure what I did wrong, but how do we get rid of the one that doesn't have the policy number?
Aha. 0CA, new business, 96, duplicate policy basically, right?
Yep.
Okay, so here's what I would do. First, I would never try to get rid of a button without checking to see if there's attachments. Because if I ditch this auto button, I don't want to lose these attachments that might be important, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right click on my attachment. And this is true, guys, if you ever accidentally attach something to the wrong policy or the wrong client file, move the attachment to the other client and policy.
Mm-hmm.
And see how it says, Tiffany, I assume you want to move this to client 846, which is the same one that I happen to be on.
Yep.
And I'm going to click that number 3 auto, Rich, to move it over here.
Okay.
So that's step 1. Right click, move your attachment, because I don't want to hide anything that's important or lose anything that's important.
Yep.
Okay. Number 2, action, internal. And I guess what I should talk about, Rich, before I do that, see how you have a reminder set to change the address?
Mm-hmm.
I may not want to lose that either, but I'll show you. Right click, action internal, archive the policy.
Okay. And we're only archiving that one because that's the only one highlighted.
Correct.
Okay.
You are about to archive the following policy, state auto, the one with no policy number, so it reiterates which one you're wanting to get rid of. And then it says, do you want to archive the corresponding log notes? And typically I don't. These notes could be important to keep, and I don't want to lose log note number 1 or log note number 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does everybody know that this number right here on the log note see how this log note, September 9th, has a number 1 next to it? And so does this one up here. Those 2 log notes belong to this button because it has a number 1. So I don't want to get rid of the log notes, Rich. I'm going to say no, leave them there. Duplicate policy created by download. That's the reason I'm getting rid of it, right?
Yep.
So pop quiz, why is this still showing even though I tried to get rid of it?
You haven't refreshed it.
I haven't refreshed it, but also see how Rich has a check mark here that says show me the inactive ones. So I'm gonna close the file and just open it back up. There you go. Refreshed and it's gone.
Yep.
And then those attachments here, Rich, are here. And you didn't lose your log notes.
Okay, cool.
Great question. Does everybody know what this is for?
Nope.
I created this custom shortcut button for you guys to make your life a little bit easier. I know that when you're working on your customer files and you notice that something's wrong with it, like see how Marcellus here doesn't have a phone number? If you guys want to quickly add his phone number to the file, instead of you clicking Action, Internal, Change Client and Policy, and then manually adding the phone number here, if you click the Fix button, see how it didn't ask my opinion? It just said Action, Internal, Change Client and Policy without making me click 3 steps to get this far.
Yep.
It just gets you through the action menu quicker. It's designed to help you guys get your cleanup done. Like this. I don't know that this is a terrible problem, but Marcellus is a personal lines customer file. Since I'm here, I might want to fill that in so Rich can have a report that says, here's all my personal versus here's all my commercial clients.
Cool.
Okay, do you have more questions, Rich?
I've got one more if we want to keep going this way. So let's say I get a blank. I'll show you. Let's say I got this form. Tim emailed me this morning. I'm going to grab this mouse real quick if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Tim sent me an email and said, hey, I need you to fill this thing out for K&K. Right. I know that I can drag and drop this into Hawksoft, but is there any way for me inside Hawksoft to like annotate any of these lines, or is that not something that we can do?
Nope, there is no way.
Okay.
It would require like letter editor software or like Adobe software where you can edit a PDF.
Okay. So we can do that in ET file, guys. So if you ever want to do that, you can always just save it into ET file, annotate it, and then drag and drop that into Hawksoft if you need it. That's just more of a, we don't get that much, but once in a while we do hear from people that need this type of form filled out. That's all I got. Who else has something?
Well, since I'm along these lines, let me show you guys something. Tim sent the email. See how inside the email it's got a blank W9 and a Word document, PDF and a Word. So when I drag and drop this email into, and I won't really leave it on Marcellus, but when I drag and drop that email into the client file and I click attach, the PDF and the Word document are there, except here, let's do it on Larry. Do you care if I attach it to Larry?
No.
how many times it's going to make me try to do it. There we go. I attached that email that Tim sent to Larry's customer file. And Rich, I want your direction on this. I can simply click attach. It's sort of the cheater's way out. I can click attach, and that's fantastic because it's over here on the attachment screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
See how in that attachment, I don't know that there's a PDF in a Word document unless I double click and open that email and read it.
Right.
So a lot of times what I'll do, guys, is not only will I drag and drop Tim's email, but I'll drag and drop these two.
Okay, so now it's showing that it's actually a PDF. Yep.
Really, really optional. You either have to know that if there's an attachment inside an email that you stored in Hawksoft, that you've got to launch the email to see the attachment, or you're going to drag and drop them independently.
Yeah, I think I like sending the actual attachment itself. Then there's no question about what it is.
And then the other thing I want to mention about drag and drop, I would drag and drop all the time. I still do today when I get emails from you guys. But my boss, when I would click attach, I would simply attach that drag and drop document to the attachment screen. But how do I know 6 weeks from now if my coworker is looking in the database that there's an email attached over here unless I open that attachment screen and look to see what may or may not be there? So my boss used to make me do this. Tiffany, if you're going to drag and drop, log and attach, which would force me to say, I got an email from my coworker, Tim, right? Tim sent me an email with a Word and a PDF. Not that I would really write that, guys, but do you see how it says September 18th, 11:33, Rich got an email from somebody?
Mm-hmm.
This is why it's here. So not only is it in a log note, but it's on the attachment screen too. It's the best of both worlds.
Right. A little less searching around if we're not sure where something is.
Okay, who else has questions?
We're wondering how to merge clients. Again,
got
I
it.
mean, I know there's another thing on it, but so the last name is R-O-T-A-N. It's an example.
R-O-T-A-N?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got it. So first thing to watch for is the client ID number. Goodness gracious, there's like 4 different customers for Ernestine and Canetta, right?
Yes,
Are
I mean.
Are Ernestine and Canetta different people? They're not like spouses or?
They are different people.
Okay, can we do the Ernestine one first?
Yes.
Okay, so number 1, search, and I always do this, guys. See how I'm going to launch client 2120? It's Ernestine J. Rotan on Diamond Ridge Lane with a homeowner's policy, right?
Okay.
With Nationwide. And then I'm going to click on search again. And this time I'm going to open up the other one because I want to be able to see both customer files sort of back to back so I can figure out what went wrong in the first place.
2 different addresses.
Yeah, so this one with her home, her location address is Diamond Ridge Lane, but I'm guessing that this is maybe her mailing. Does anybody know her well enough to know the answer to that?
I have to look back to the Nationwide site.
See, she must own 2 homes, guys, because the other home policy she has with Nationwide is on Bellbrook Street.
Are they two separate policy numbers?
5478.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. This one's in HO3. This one's
Yeah, it
in
looks like she
HO3.
owns 2 different homes.
I would merge them together, but what we have to decide is which address are we going to get rid of. And not that we're going to get rid of the physical location on the home property, but which address are we going to lose as her contact address in Hawksoft? Diamond Ridge or Bellbrook Street? And this really has to do with when I merge customer files together, I have to make a decision about which one I don't mind ditching, because if I merge this one to this one, I lose the Bellbrook Street contact info. If I merge this one to this one, I lose the Diamond Ridge contact info.
Can anyone see if one's a primary and one's a secondary?
On her billing, she has the, oh no, that one's different, just kidding. She has 2 separate addresses on both of her billing accounts, so I'm not sure.
Hey Shay, can you speak up the volume on your headset a little bit?
She said,
Never
client.
mind.
Okay.
I was gonna say she has 2 separate billing accounts in her auto and her homeowners. The one property and her auto, or the billing address, is the Bellbrook, and then on her other property address, the mailing address or the billing address is the Diamond.
So here's what we could do, guys. I could
know.
just make a decision, and I can merge one to the other and then store. There's a place in Hawksoft for mailing and there's a place for physical. We could put both addresses in there.
Hey Tiff, can I stop you real quick?
How about
Yeah.
can we try Canetta just so you can show us how to actually click through it? Because I know
Sure.
that she is the Glen Burnie address. And it probably has 2 addresses for her because she just moved and we're just moving everything over.
So put Ernestine on the back burner, guys.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
fine.
Shay, did you make note of that one for
Yeah,
Ernestine?
we've got it.
Okay. Okay, so same concept. I've got Canetta. I'm going to highlight the first one and click OK. She's on Edenbury Way with one homeowner's
Yeah,
policy.
that's the right address.
Okay. And then I'm going to click on search and open the other one. And this one has a homeowner's policy and an auto policy. So which one are we going to keep, guys? My gut feeling is let's keep this one, because see how Canetta already has all this contact information and I don't want to lose it.
And it has those policies.
Well, Teresa, you just said that they're moving to Glen Burnie.
She did just move to Glen Burnie. And she had a tenant policy with us that I think we may have just canceled, but yeah.
The other log that's up does say that's an apartment, the second one.
Yeah, so it's a tenant policy for the other one.
Okay. Well, the whole merge process, guys, start from the customer file that you don't mind losing, meaning I'm going to lose client 3425. I'm not going to lose the homeowners button, and I'm not going to lose any log notes or any attachments, but I'm basically going to lose all this data, the address, the fact that she's marked as a customer and that she's active. But I'm okay with losing this stuff because over here on this one, it's already got a bunch of details, right?
Yep.
Okay, so start with the one you don't mind losing. Make sure you're clicked on the client level.
So Tiff, can I clarify something real quick?
Yeah.
So guys, when we're looking at these 2 files right here, I'm going to grab the mouse. Don't worry about what this information says, because all this is doing is identifying this homeowner's policy, which is probably the tenant policy. And then we got the auto here. So when we're thinking about merging a client, don't worry about anything that's down here, you know, in this area. All you really want to look at is up here in this client data information, and whichever has the most information or the most up-to-date information is where we should move to. So we keep all of this information here. If we kept this one, then we have no phone number, address, any of that stuff that's already in there. We don't care about this. We don't have any information. But up here we do. We have a ton
But
of
that's
stuff.
her
So we
new.
want to
That's her new home. Okay, so the new home will move over there. Now, like since I just wrote that policy, will it change the age? That agent code will also move over with it.
It will. We're not going to lose a single bit of that homeowner's data, just the top part of that name and address screen. That's the only thing we're going to lose. Okay, so start from the customer file that has the least amount of contact info and make sure you're on the client level. Action, internal, merge clients. So I'm going to merge client 3425. It makes me see how it makes me search for her again. I'm going to merge it to 3634. Does that make sense, guys? I'm taking this one and merging it to this one.
Yep.
Yes.
And it'll say, are you sure? The policy numbers are all reset. Do you wish to archive the current client file? And I do, because I don't want an empty client number 3425 junking up my database. So I'm going to say yes. And then this is up to what Rich wants you to do, but I would likely type merged to duplicate client file created by the download. And okay.
Now, when you go back and search her, yeah, that's what. Okay, so she's not. Okay, we did one this morning, but we must have done it wrong because the person was in there twice still. Okay.
And then see how all three of those home buttons are there, or all three of those policy buttons are there?
Yes.
Okay, which one did you do this morning?
Who did we do this morning, Beth?
Jesse Nettles. It's my phone. Okay.
You didn't do it wrong, hon, at all. And it's not your fault that it looks like you did it wrong. Rich, this is something we need to address with you or Shay, because this is sort of a management tool. Did you guys notice when I opened up Jesse that both his home and his auto policies are here?
Yeah.
And when I tried to open up that other Jesse, I got an error message that says, Tiffany, we can't locate that file in the database. Check your archived or try running file maintenance. So Rich, the only reason Jesse's name was lingering in that search list, even though they merged him together the right way, is because we haven't run file maintenance recently.
Okay.
File maintenance is it. Go ahead, honey.
I say we had a similar issue yesterday, and Beth called the help desk, and they told her to run it. She couldn't do it on her, so we ran it on mine. It did say it was best if everyone was logged out, and I was the only one logged out, or Beth was the only one logged out. But we did try and do it yesterday, and it worked for whatever client we ran it for yesterday.
Yeah, it's this, guys. And Rich, you could give staff permission to this feature. There's no harm. You could run this file maintenance utility 700 times a day if you felt like it. It's not going to break anything.
Okay.
It really has to do with your search indexes. It's this one. It's called Freshen Indexes.
Yep.
And all it does
is that something that we definitely should run daily?
Typically, I ran it every couple of weeks for my own agency, but I wasn't doing massive cleanups like you guys are right now. I was doing 1 merge a month, 2 merges a month at most. So yes, right now, it's probably a really good idea that you run it daily.
Okay.
It zips through every customer file in the database, and it just sort of puts them all back in the right searchable order, and it strips out the archived customers. And it's really just a glitch in, I wouldn't even say it's a glitch. the customer file is hung up between your archive section and your regular section of the database, and it's in limbo.
So while that's running, can I ask you, or can I just show everybody something real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if we're having that discussion about how to merge a client, and we're over here.
Go ahead, you can take the mouse.
Okay, we're over on, who was it? Rotan. And we see that there's 2 Ernestines. We go through the whole song and dance that we just did, and we're like, man, which one's right? I don't know. Everybody knows that you guys can click this website button. And because we were under Nationwide, oh, you know what? Maybe I didn't have my,
And here's a good tip.
oh, yeah.
Click on the auto, but if you're ever in doubt about whether the website's going to launch the right way for you, Rich, click on the auto button and then click on that word company next to Nationwide, and it'll show you whether the website's in there.
Okay, yep. So yeah, I didn't have the auto button clicked, so it didn't know where to take us. But if you have that highlighted, or just say it's the home, and you click website, takes it out to agentcenter.nationwide.com, hopefully. Or not. Well, it should. In any case, if this is working properly, it takes us to agentcenter.nationwide.com, which is the back door into Nationwide's Policy Center and Agent Center. So you can look up a policy. Here we go. Okay, so here's my login and username. Everything's filled out automatically. That's not right. All right, we have a little bit of an issue here. So in any case, eventually you'll be able to click that button and go in through the back way and look up policy information on personal lines and commercial. You just can't make a payment through that portal because BAM is not included under that back door. So did everybody know that we could get to that website, that Nationwide website, if we needed to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same thing with other carrier websites too, guys.
I have been in the habit of still logging into Nationwide the old way, just as a habit every day. Is that what everyone else is doing as well, or?
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have Nationwide open too.
we have to. I mean, there's
We
too
have
much
to take
stuff that we
payments.
have to do inside of Nationwide. But if you wanted to go through Hawksoft to document what you were doing, this method allows us to go in there and take screenshots and to log the information without having to go to Nationwide separately and then back into Hawksoft to log what we're doing.
While we're on this topic, I think every day I've had an issue with the Nationwide VPN seemingly not being compatible with Hawksoft. So I'll get an error message saying that there's like too many users and I can't access Hawksoft until I log out of Nationwide entirely. Is there a workaround for that, or is that just something we have to be patient with?
I heard recently that Nationwide has a firewall setting on their new VPN link that prevents you from having Hawksoft open at the same time. It very recently, just I think Monday, a blast message went out and that Nationwide knows there's an issue and that they're working with our team to fix it. It's not supposed to happen to you like that.
Okay. So at some point it'll kind of just stop happening and we don't have to worry about it.
Yes, that's my prayer and my hope.
And our workaround right now is when you get in the morning, open Hawksoft first.
Yeah.
And as long as you open Hawksoft first, it's going to stay open and not get you kicked out once you log into Nationwide.
That has not been my experience, but I will keep logging into Hawksoft first anyway.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys notice that when I launched this progressive website from Hawksoft that it grabbed Rich's username and his password?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's because he and Shay and Aubrey have been putting credentials in Hawksoft setup screens for this to happen for all of us. ideally what you should be able to do is click log in. And then I want to teach you guys something I think is pretty cool. See, this is the spot where you guys would typically normally type in your customer's last name or policy number, right?
Yep.
Hawksoft knows your customer's last name and the customer's policy number. See this button at the top of the screen called Map? I want Progressive to be smart enough to always grab my customer's last name from the customer file. So I'm going to map this field with any piece of data stored in Hawksoft. In this case, I want it to grab the customer's policy number. So what I've just done, guys, me mapping this field means that every one of you now, when you open up a real Progressive customer in Hawksoft and you launch the Progressive website from Hawksoft, it's going to be smart enough to grab your customer's policy number. The mapping is a one-time per website thing. You all don't have to do it individually.
Okay, so we were talking about this yesterday at our meeting, and I don't think we all knew that. I think we thought that you had to do this each time you wanted to input client data. But as soon as somebody does that the first time, that's always going to be the case in the future now.
Yeah, give me the name of a real Progressive customer file if you guys can think of one.
Gaskill, Gaskill. Gaskil, try. Oh, no. Anybody else have one?
Gaskill.
Okay, Gask. Ray, it's Ray. Yeah, there it is.
Okay, Ray calls me. He says, Tiffany, I want to make a payment. I click on his oh, we don't
Oh,
have
it's AIC. We can still use that, though, I think.
but different website with AIC than Progressive, right?
Right. Still the same idea, though?
Yes.
Well, she hasn't mapped that one yet.
I haven't mapped that
Oh,
one.
right. All right, who's got a Progressive one?
Try H-I-L-E. That should be Progressive.
Here we go. So client calls and says, Tiffany, here's my credit card number. I need to post a payment. And I go, sure, hold on. I click website. It brings me to the foragentsonly.com login screen. I'm Rich, because that's who's logged into Hawksoft. So it grabs my username and my password. And I click login. And see how it grabbed 01826
Awesome.
from this screen
That's
down
really cool.
here.
Yep.
Okay, even better, I click go, Progressive, get me to the payment screen. And I post payment, or I add a vehicle, or I do a quote, whatever it is I need to do my job. And then I'm all done. See this capture button? Looks like a little camera.
Mm-hmm.
If I click on that, it will say, Tiffany, Rich, do you want to save this snapshot to your client file in Hawksoft? Yes or no?
Yes.
And then I say something like this, and it's a real customer file because I don't want to mess them up. But I'll put test for Hawksoft training. If it's super important, Rich, I'm doing this and I want Shay to see that I posted a payment because she needs to know that this customer is not really canceling. I could highlight her name here and I could say, hey, Shay, see a picture of what I just did on the customer file. I could force you to see this, Shay, by choosing your name here. Great way to share information with each other without having to fax each other or email or call each other. Okay. The thing I don't like about this, though, so I'm going to go ahead and click attach, finish my job. I close my website. I land back here in Hawksoft, and it still thinks I'm not done. It says online to company website, but it's sitting here waiting for me to decide if I need to do something else. Like, what if he called me today to add another vehicle and he wants an ID card right now? I could click on print and get him an ID card, or I could send him an email that says, thanks for your payment. I'm going to click finish and see how that document's automatically attached.
Mhm.
And okay. What I don't like about it is that it's like using a camera. I can only take a picture of what fits through the lens of the camera. So if this document online was like a 6-page quote, that camera is not going to do me any good because I don't want to have to maneuver to the next section of the large document and use that capture button again, right? So I have a solution, and you guys probably don't know this, but same exact scenario. I get online. I open my customer file, I do some work, and I click the camera button and I realize it's just not going to work. Whatever I can take a picture of doesn't fit, right? Do you guys know how to use this one?
Virtual printer?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes.
So the virtual printer will capture the document no matter how large it is. So my preference is the virtual printer. I think capture is awesome. It's quick and it's easy, but the virtual printer will take the entire document no matter how big it is. Okay, good?
Yep.
Okay. What else, friends?
Come on, Bowie, we haven't heard from you. What do you need to know?
We don't have any right now. Are we sure that all the broker AIC and Progressive have come over?
Oh, good point.
Yesterday. And
No, that's a good question. So yesterday I started the process of identifying which brokerage policies with all of NBS we have in the agency. I sent it to Tim yesterday. Rachel currently has it. As we go through, you're going to identify which policies are yours. And then once I have a completed list, Tiff and I are going to work on importing that entire brokerage list. And really, it's just policies that are not with Progressive, AIC, Safeco, and somebody else. So that we can just automatically download all of those policies in a Hawksoft without having to do them manually. So we are working on that, and we're also working on identifying which one of those policies belongs to which producer.
Okay.
So I don't want to upload those into Hawksoft until we have a completed list with producer names on them.
Right.
And so if you have that spreadsheet on your desk right now, you need to do it as soon as possible and get it back so I can get it on to the next person.
I have a question.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
We touched on this a little bit at our staff meeting yesterday, how when we are in Outlook through Hawksoft,
okay,
if we save an attachment or something like that, it'll save it to a desktop that is not our local desktop. It's, I guess, through the Hawksoft VPN.
Yes.
I think it was implied that there's a way to save files through that link that will be able to communicate with my local machine. That I can then move that file over. I don't know how to do that. I don't know if there's already a video somewhere that I could watch. I wasn't able to find anything that made it clear to me.
It's a pain in the rear end. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're online, you try to locate your desktop. Oh, you're in Hawksoft, you try to locate your desktop and you're shoved down this rabbit hole of different drive letters you don't recognize, right?
Yeah, we're familiar with that through Nationwide. We had the same things, that there was a workaround that we were able to do to make that system communicate. I assume there's one for this, but I just don't know how to do it.
There kind of is. Rich and I actually were talking about this yesterday on his machine. Do you guys see this shortcut up here? that I created for him. There's a P drive on the Hawksoft server where you guys can store whatever you want. It's this. Your P drive on the Hawksoft server is a place where you guys can get to and grab documents and copy and paste from and move to your desktop. I can create a shortcut to this P drive for everybody, so I can give you instructions as to how. That doesn't really answer your question. If you're online, how do I navigate through this screen to save to my own desktop, right?
Yeah, I assume we'd have to then do a shortcut on our desktop
It's this.
to link to that.
You have to click on network. And it takes a couple minutes to launch, so I'm kind of answering two questions at once. This is the answer to your question. You have to click on network. And there might be a setting we have to change for you, Rich. Okay. Well, it's not a good answer. The best way to handle this is to have you guys save your documents to your P drive and then access the P drive from here.
Got it.
Now, none of you guys have this shortcut except for Rich, this P drive shortcut. Do you want to know how to create it?
Yes.
Please.
And this is, I would have done this for every one of you if I could, but I have to be on every one of your machines individually to do this. It's a computer-specific setting, not a program-specific setting. So I need everybody to write down these steps if you want this shortcut.
Okay.
Settings, this little gear icon. Computer-specific settings. And it's this tab here called External Tools. Every one of you has access to this screen. There's no permission issue where you can't open this screen yourself. New. And you could call this anything you want, guys. As long as you know what it is, it doesn't matter what you put in the tool name. I just called it P drive. Or you could call it agency documents, storage, whatever you want it to say. It's a program, not a website. Sorry. And then this is the path, guys. P:/agency docs with a space between agency and docs.
Oh, space.
Can we put individual folders, say like we each have a separate folder within agency docs, so that all my docs aren't with Teresa's docs and it's just overloaded?
Absolutely. Stay with me for a minute so I can do that for you.
And this is machine specific. So if I have a desktop in Crofton and a laptop I use from home, I'll have to map each machine separately to get the link I need, correct?
Correct.
Sorry, I already
Shay.
put one in there.
Look at you. She doesn't need me at all.
Look, Teresa's there now. Oh, Aubrey's there now. Oh,
Tim. Doreen, tell me if I spell your name right.
It's right.
Carol. I'm going to hurt some feelings now because now I can't remember. Laura.
Rachel.
Rachel.
Susie.
Thank you, Susie. Did I spell your name right?
Mm-hmm.
Karen.
Sandy.
Sandy.
is that Teresa yet?
Teresa, I spell your name right? Carol, Laura, Aubrey, Doreen, Sandy, Teresa, Beth, Karen, Susie, Rachel, Tim, Shay, Rich. Good?
Good.
All right, so Rich, on your shortcut, I'm going to break the shortcut and point it to your specific folder.
Okay.
So guys, if you're online in an email, in any other program, and you need to save something, browse to the P drive on Hawksoft. Let's do this. Do you have a preference on what you want your button to say up here?
Just put shared storage.
Now, this feature that I'm showing you guys, this external tool feature, it's not just for things like this. I set up an external tool for myself to Zillow. I got sick and tired of customers not remembering what their square footage of their house was. And I would open Zillow to look up the square footage or the year that the house was built, and I wanted to get to Zillow quickly. Not only did I want to get Zillow open to do my job, but I wanted to be able to use the virtual printer and when I got to Zillow. So I did this. And then I had a shortcut to Zillow to get my job done faster. DMV websites, non-carrier specific websites that I can't get to elsewhere. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Clear as mud.
Yep. Delete. It would have helped, guys, if I had clicked save when I did that for Rich.
There it is. Yep.
There's a junky one in there. You don't need that duplicate. Okay. Can I leave you with one more tip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
You guys have, actually, I'm going to leave you with two. You guys have a lot of say in how the program can work for you better. There's a whole bunch of room at the top of your monitors to create and use more shortcuts. Does everybody know why these buttons are here and what to do with them?
Yep.
Okay. So Rich, I'm Beth, and I print certificates every day, and I'm tired of clicking action, phone from insured, print certificate of liability, and I want a shortcut. If you click on Setup, General Configuration, you can set up more shortcuts for your staff here.
Okay, so let's go ahead and just set up let's set up a COI button real quick.
So I'm going to click on New, and I'll call it COI. I want to be able to use that shortcut on every type of policy, not just, you know, I could say only let me use the shortcut when I'm working on a boat type of policy, but that's going to not do me any good, right? All policy types, whether it's commercial auto, personal auto, I might need a COI, and I don't want to get myself in a position where I can't use the button, right? Yeah. And this is the hard part. You have to decide what you want your shortcut to say for documentation's sake.
Okay, so we usually get our certificate request through email.
So email from insured.
Sure.
Yeah. Print, create, certificate of liability.
Mm-hmm.
Email from insured, print, create, certificate of liability. That's 6 steps that I'm able to not have to click on with the action menu.
Nice.
I don't know, we can make it look like a piece of paper.
Sure. There it is.
Okay, so why can't I click on it? Why is it
You're
grayed
not,
out on me?
You're not in a policy.
Bingo. I have to have the policy before I can click it. Phone from insured, print, certificate of liability. All those steps are all done for me now. Or
Cool.
sorry, email from insured.
Yep.
Okay. So there's that, guys. So if you're doing something in the program and it's repetitive and you're tired of it, reach out to Rich and say, hey, can we talk about getting a shortcut for that? Number 2, this one saves me hours of time. I used to be the one at the agency that had to do all the cancel phone calls to my clients. I called so-and-so, told him his payment was due. He told me he'd pay his bill, whatever it was that I had to do every day to get those customers to pay their bills, right? And I got tired of typing the words, I called the customer, and this is what transpired in my phone conversation. Here's a really good example. I used to have to call customers that moved, and I would make log notes. Received, this happened all the time to me. Returned mail from United States Postal Service. I don't know if you guys have to go through this, but I did years ago. Client moved and left no forwarding address. Probably did 15 to 20 of these a week back in my day, and I got tired of typing that exact message every time I needed it. And Rich, again, this goes back to you and how you can make the program better for everybody. If you click here on Setup, Customize Lists. By the way, you commercial agents, guys, you can import workers' comp class codes and hazard classification codes into Hawksoft to make your life a little bit easier here.
Mm.
But see this one, Rich, called Suspense Log Templates?
Yep.
My boss set this up for me as a template.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I had to document, may change does not be saved, continue, no. Sorry, I don't know why that didn't save. Anytime I had to document that I was dealing with returned mail and I didn't want to have to retype those words every time, I was able to use this pencil instead. I click on the pencil, it says, what do you want us to fill in for you?
Pretty cool.
So again, guys, if you're typing something that's repetitive and you're doing it all the time, tell Rich and he can set it up in the pencil for you, and then it will be at your fingertips to use. Okay, good.
Great.
Yeah. Okay, so
All
Rich,
right.
you're doing fantastic. You were assigned to me on August 8th. We've gotten a ton of work done in the last 40 days, 45 days. I can schedule another Q&A with you guys if you want in a couple weeks, or
I think that would be great. Let's do that for, a couple weeks from now.
Yeah.
it's Wednesday today, guys. Is this the best day of the week where everybody's most available?
I think it's best. I think it's best except for Beth, but we may be able to get her on a computer, log in, and kind of listen through this at home, right, Beth? Maybe.
Or just do it Tuesday morning.
I think Carol's out on Tuesdays, I believe.
Oh.
Thursday?
Sandy's out on Thursdays. Why don't we let's shoot for another Wednesday, and we can try to see if we can get Beth I can just record it for her as well and give it to her.
Okay. We met right before lunch, guys. Is everybody starving and not wanting to deal with this right now? You want to do it earlier in the morning, or is this a good time frame?
I think this is probably good. I think 11's good.
Okay. I'm going to invite everybody to Wednesday, October 2nd. Send everybody the same kind of invite, and we'll just pick it up where we left off today.
Okay. When do we lose you? What day?
Cool.
Technically, you lose me on October 8th. 2 months.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get that done, and then everybody, just make sure you're writing down any questions that you have along the way. And if you figure something out that maybe we haven't addressed here, and you can share that with everybody else in the office, that would be great. Through email or however you want to communicate that. That way we can all learn together.
Okay. Okay.
You guys are,
Right.
I have to say this to every one of you staff members. I'm incredibly impressed with you, every one of you, how hard you've worked to get through this change, and I appreciate you so much.
Thank you for all your help.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
thank you. I wish they were all like you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bowie office appreciates that comment.
Yeah, and don't try to steal any of my employees, Tiff. If you guys are hiring in Oregon.
Aubrey and Beth and Shay, I'll be calling.
All right, guys, get back to work.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I wanted to show you a couple of things real quick.
What were you doing your conference call on real quick, by the way?
Ring Central.
You're on Ring Central.
They set that up. Hawksoft does
Okay.
that.